Number one, there's a reduction in the percentage who give right now to nonprofits. It's dropped from about 89% to 69% of people who give to nonprofit organization. And here's the deal. As an industry, we became addicted. We've become addicted to events, to sponsorships, to the Golden Gala at the end of the year. And the problem is, if there's less and less people who say we don't have the money to sponsor this table anymore, then that means we've got to start looking at things like replacement revenue. Replacement revenue says, how do we replace some of the revenue that we've gotten from traditional revenue streams to be able to complement that to continue? Because you know what? The goals never go down, do they? It doesn't want to happen in the industry. The board doesn't care. It means we got to do better than we did last year. Now, the other problem that compounds this is when you look at what's happening in our economy now, there's more people than ever who need your services. So if we've got less and less people who are donating and more people who need your services, it's creating what we call tension to be able to operate this business. There are nonprofits out there that are thriving right now. We got to look at what they're doing and compare it to what you're doing and saying, are some things that we need to do to find what we call replacement revenue. This year, there are more nonprofits talking about acquisition of new donors. There are nonprofits that are doing things differently, and they're saying, you know what? We've had a great donor base for a long time. But as our organizations changed and evolved, and as our donor base maybe has gotten older and older, there's a whole new set of donors that are out there who don't even know what you do, but yet have an affinity towards your cause. So there are more organizations than ever now that are saying, we've got to change, and we've got to get from behind the desk, and we've got to start going out there, because some of the best donors out there are not calling up your organization and say, we'd like to sponsor you. So that means it's going to have to be a change in mentality for some organizations from a reactive process to a more proactive process. There's a shift in focus going on right now from transactional donations. Can anybody tell me what I mean by transactional donations? Do you have a guess? You were staring at me. You made a very big mistake. What's a transaction? A transaction is an event, a one-time donation, where somebody sponsors something for one time. They give $1,000, and we don't hear from them until they give $1,000 next year. And if we're going to talk about a relationship development process is going to replace what we call a sponsorship process, that means we've got to connect better with donors as an industry. Now, what I'm doing is I'm not talking about your organization. I'm talking about our industry. You should be comparing your organization. If I'm not connecting with donors and building deep relationships and the donor base is going down, there's a danger in that. You know when relationships are built? Between transactions. What type of between transaction process do I have in place to reach out to my best donors to make sure I'm connecting and building deeper relationships? Raise your hands if you would say, maybe not all, you see these things affecting in any way your organization. Okay. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. And if I come up here and say, here's what you need to do without you seeing what you need to do, it kind of makes it a moot point. So if that's going on, what that means is that's an industry trend change. Let's look at any business that you know. If the industry changes and a business does not change their business operations to match the industries, what happens to that business? Boom. So that means we've got to start focusing on this. What are the changes that we need to put in place at our organization to make sure we don't become a dinosaur in this industry?